help me out a bit here before I start to tell you all about this book. If you could please close your eyes and imagine you are in Spain. And it's 40 degrees hot and you're at the start of the adventure of your life. An English writer called ALLi once walked out across Spain. He didn't know it, but he was walking into the perfect storm of the Spanish Civil War. The year was 1935. He wrote about his journey years later in a book called As I Walked Out One Midsummer Morning. It became a classic, like his other book, Cider with Rosie. I read it as a young man and fell in love with his writing and Spain. He's dead now, but this year is the centenary of his birth. 2 years ago, I spent a long summer retracing his footsteps and his journey across Spain. I was looking for something at a time of crisis. I never did quite find Lee, but I learned that writers often lie. We do. Heroes can have feet of clay, and more positively, people can have second chances in life. My book is called As I Walked Out Across Spain in Search of ALLi, and it will be published this summer with the help of the wonderful Silverwood Books. And I'm going to read a short piece from the opening chapter. So remember, you're in Spain and it's hot. I sit high above the Bay of Vigo on a June day in 2012. It's just after dawn. It's quiet and cool, and there is little activity on the waters below me. This is the beginning of my journey that will take me across 600 miles and 3 mountain ranges from the misty hills of Galicia to the sun-drenched Mediterranean. My pale fingers stray across the hard contours of a scallop shell, tracing the fluted pattern of ridges. I can detect still the thin, elusive trace of the Atlantic Ocean on its porcelain skin. When it was alive, it would have had over 100 reflective eyes, assembled around its circumference like a string of rosary beads. I imagine ALLi sitting in the same spot nearly 80 years ago, high above the crashing waves, looking down on the town of Vigo enveloped by a fine Galician mist. His fingers are hardened and calloused from the London building site, and the strings of his fiddle. He's caressing a feminine pink-fleshed shell and dreaming of loves left behind in England, and looking ahead to walking down a long dusty road in the cruel heat of a Spanish summer, all the way to the Mediterranean Sea. For ALLi, it was a momentous coming-of-age adventure. Instead of leaving home and walking to London, as I left home that morning and walked away from the sleeping village, it never occurred to me that others had done this before. I want to feel a bit of what Lee felt, and if I'm honest, I want some of his magic to rub off from me. Like a solitary monk praying, my fingers trace their way along the inlets of the shell. A shell that perhaps once clung wide-eyed onto an offshore rock back in 1935 and brought all hundreds of its cinematic eyes to bear on the panorama of that moment of arrival. It's 1935 and the Royal Mail Line steamer is picking its way through the islands in its approach to Vigo. Its black hull snakes through the blue Atlantic waters, its trademark bright yellow twin funnels standing out against the white clouds. The ship is en route to Buenos Aires and had started its journey in Tilbury, London, where ALLi boarded, a £4 one-way ticket in his hand. I see in my mind's eye a fair-haired, tall, pale-skinned, slim young man step off the boat carrying a knapsack, a blanket and a fiddle. He looks around at the site of the first foreign town he has set foot in. It's the gentle introduction to a harsh and alien landscape. The soft green hills above the port, so reminiscent to him of the Malvern Hills, shade him from the fierce Spanish sun. The early morning mist rising from the Galician Rias, an intricate network of deep fjords, envelops him in a misleadingly cool cocoon of comfort. He stretches his coltish young limbs, cramped from 2 days on board. His first faltering steps on his journey across Spain are those of sea legs on dry land. He looks up at me, high above him on the hill, and for a moment, as our eyes engage, I see a hint of panic. He's alone, wondering perhaps whether he should have listened to those siren calls of fair English girls, begging him to stay at home or take them with him. He's looking at me, but thinking of his mother, and the last time he saw her as he left Slad a year earlier. The stooping figure of my mother, waist deep in the grass, and caught there like a piece of sheep's wool.